Hello everyone, it's Tu. Today, we're stepping into a story about a love that feels almost eternal, the kind of love we all dream of. It's that moment when Tu couldn't hold back anymore, breaking down in tears of happiness, believing she had finally found in Alex the greatest blessing of her life. But is that happiness really unshakable? Because behind every warm smile, there may be a hidden secret no one expects. And behind Alex's tender care, could there be a truth powerful enough to change everything? Is it pure love? Or is fate quietly preparing an even harder test for their hearts? Let's find out together to see whether this story leads to lasting happiness or a truth that turns everything upside down. The afternoon slowly faded across the fields, the wind sweeping through the dry golden grass, carrying with it a stillness that somehow felt mysterious. Tuna, a woman who had quietly endured years of loneliness, never imagined that a single small moment could turn her whole life around. Alex appeared at her door, unexpectedly, holding nothing more than a bag of new clothes for little Henry. To most people, it would seem like such a simple gesture. But to Tuna, it was like a ray of light cutting through the heavy darkness that had surrounded her heart for so long. Tears spilled down her face, and for the first time in what felt like forever, she cried, not from pain, but from a happiness she thought had left her life forever. And yet, could there be something hidden behind that tenderness? Every glance, every unexpected visit, every small act of care Alex showed toward her and Henry, was it simply compassion, or was it the beginning of a love quietly taking root? One rainy afternoon, as the wind slammed hard against the old wooden doors, Alex bent down to fix one of the rotting hinges. His clothes were soaked through his hair, a tangled mess, his hands covered in mud. In that moment, he was no longer the cold businessman from the city, but a simple man silently sacrificing to protect this fragile home. Day by day, life on the farm grew more peaceful. Every time Henry saw Alex, he would laugh and run toward him, throwing his little arms around his neck. The sight melted Tuna's heart, yet deep inside, a quiet fear still lingered. Happiness felt too fragile, and that fragility made her even more afraid it could shatter at any moment. As the heavy rain poured outside, Alex suddenly stopped his eyes, holding a sincerity he couldn't hide. He didn't need words. His presence alone told Tuna that what he felt had never been pity. It was love, steady burning, strong enough to warm even the deepest wounds. From the corner of the room, Henry giggled, an innocent witness to this sacred moment. But even as hope began to stir in Tuna's heart, one question remained. Was this love strong enough to withstand the judgment and storms that lay ahead? Or was it only the prelude to a heartbreak waiting to come? Night settled in quietly. The faint glow of an oil lamp lit up the corner of the room, just enough to shine on the face of a sleeping little angel. Henry lay snug in the old bamboo crib, his breathing soft and steady, his cheeks rosy in a sweet dream. Every gentle breath seemed to fill the room with warmth. Alex sat nearby, watching silently. He was a CEO, used to endless meetings and high-pressure decisions. Yet at this moment, all of that felt so small. All the stress and worries seemed to disappear in front of one simple sight. Henry sleeping peacefully in his mother's arms. He turned to look at Tuna. This woman had carried so many lonely nights, so many tears shed in silence. And still, she sat there now strong, tender, her hand gently brushing Henry's hair, her eyes full of love. Alex slowly reached out and took her hand. It was thin, a little fragile, but warm, a hand that had weathered storms on its own. His deep voice broke the silence. Tuna, you've been through so much. From now on, you don't have to carry it alone. I'll take care of you and Henry, too. Na lifted her eyes, surprised. She shook her head, lightly, a trembling smile on her lips. You don't have to do that. Henry, he's not your own child. I don't want to become a burden to you. Alex held her hand tighter, his gaze firm. I've never once thought of you or Henry as a burden. Do you know what I feel when I see the two of you? For the first time, I understand what family really means. I want this place, this home, to be where you and Henry feel safe and happy. His eyes wandered around the fragile bamboo house, the leaky roof, the weak door, the tilted old table. None of it was enough to protect them from the storms outside. His chest tightened. Looking back at Tuna, his voice was steady. I want to bring you both to live with me, a place where you won't have to worry about the rain or wind. I want to wake up every morning and see you and Henry there. Will you give me that chance? Tuna stayed silent. Her heart was racing, her eyes blurred with tears. She wasn't used to being protected, and she could hardly believe a man like Alex would put his entire world aside just to stand by her and her son. In his sleep, Henry shifted and smiled, as if he too could feel his mother's happiness. The wind whispered outside, but inside that small room, warmth spread like an unspoken promise. That night, Tuna still couldn't answer, but the way she looked at Alex was no longer full of doubt. Instead, a faint light of hope flickered, a small spark, yet strong enough to shine into even the deepest wounds in her heart. Alex sat beside her, holding Tuna's hand, his eyes full of determination. He whispered, like it was a promise, Tuna, you and Henry have struggled enough. From now on, I'll take care of you. Tuna stayed silent. Her eyes followed the cracks in the thatched roof, the mold-stained walls, then rested on Henry sleeping soundly. The longing to be protected rose inside her, but with it came a storm of worry. Her mind flashed back to the countless times she had picked herself up after falling. Her past didn't allow her to trust so easily. She wanted to believe in Alex, but her heart was still chained by fear. If he changed his mind, if this love was only temporary, would she have the strength to rise again? Alex's gaze was warm and steady, but Tuna turned away, hiding the tears ready to fall. She gently pulled her hand back, her voice so soft it felt like she was only speaking to herself. Alex, I need time. I can't give you an answer right now. I'm afraid that if I trust and one day it all disappears, I'll be left with nothing. The air grew heavy with silence. Alex looked at her quietly, wanting to say more. But instead, he simply squeezed her hand once more before letting go. His eyes carried both understanding and worry. Henry stirred in his sleep, a small smile on his lips, as if sensing his mother's longing. Tuna sat in silence, her heart torn between the past and the present, between fear and the desire for happiness. Outside, the night wind blew, a reminder that the road ahead wouldn't be easy. The unanswered question lingered inside her. Was Alex's love strong enough to break the chains of fear in her heart? Or would it all remain nothing more than unfulfilled promises? In the days that followed, Tuna still couldn't give an answer. Alex's proposal hung in the air, part dream, part fear. She kept her distance, her eyes flickering with hesitation whenever he came by. But instead of pressing, her Alex chose a quieter way, proving himself through actions. In the mornings, when Tuna carried Henry out to the yard, she would see Alex on the roof, pulling away rotted thatch. The sunlight hit his face, sweat rolling down, as his once office-soft hands turned rough with dust. He didn't say a word, only smiled when their eyes met, then returned to his work. By afternoon, when the wind picked up, Alex hammered new wooden planks into the broken door frame. Each strike of the hammer felt like it was closing the invisible distance between them. Tuna watched emotion stirring. This man was truly laying down his world to mend the broken pieces of hers. Henry toddled around his little hands, patting Alex's back like he was cheering him on. Alex turned, lifted the boy high into the air, spinning him around. Henry's laughter rang through the house, a pure sound that washed away the heaviness in Tuna's heart. That evening, when the work was done, Alex sat quietly on the porch, wiping sweat from his brow. Tuna brought him a cup of water, her hand trembling slightly. Neither of them spoke, but the silence carried more meaning than any promise could. In the days that followed, Tuna saw him again and again, patching the roof, fixing fences, clearing weeds around the yard. Every small task he did with patience. No complaints, no frustration, only gentle eyes whenever he looked at her and Henry. Slowly, she realized something. Love isn't about sweet words spoken in the moment. It's in the quiet actions, in unwavering presence. And Alex, a CEO, once surrounded by city lights and luxury, was now planting something new in her heart trust. Tuna still couldn't bring herself to say yes. But at night, as she watched Henry sleep peacefully in Alex's arms, her heart no longer fought so hard. The fear was still there, but next to it, a light was growing, reaching into corners of her soul she thought were closed forever. Maybe. True love doesn't need grand promises. It just needs someone willing to stay, even when the world outside has turned its back.
Chào các bạn, có lẽ chẳng ai ngờ được một cuộc gọi trong đêm đã làm trái tim Tuna trao đảo. Nhưng nó tin nó nằm ngang một viện khẩn cấp, và chỉ vài phút sau anh đã xuất hiện gương mặt anh nhìn. Nhưng ánh mắt đầy lo lắng, anh không nắm hoa, cũng không nhớ nhẹ. Những lời dừng mắt chỉ mang theo bát cháo nóng hổi. Những phút ngủ, lúc sau Tuna mặc gương mặt anh run rẩy. Tắt đấy. Tuna thấy đôi mắt anh đỏ hoe làm người thương trong đời. Nghe tự hỏi, trái tim kết quá lâu Tuna không thể nhận ra được sự chân thành của anh. Hãy tươi những câu chuyện tình yêu rộng nước mắt đầy đỏ. anh cũng bận lắm.